Here you understand why every single detail in the Bible is the way that it is. Tarshish, which is a very famous word all through the Bible, and the island of Tarshish. I encourage you to find all the instances of this word, Tarshish, all through the Bible. And this is, in fact, a place where Jonah was trying to flee. And folks, you have to understand that everything is by divine ordinance of God. Even the so-called mistake of Jonah to try and flee to Tarshish. Well, if Jonah had never tried to flee to Tarshish, we would not have the story of the big fish. We would not have the story of Jonah being in the belly of the fish for 3 days and 3 nights. And we would not have Jesus equals 8, that being the ultimate prophecy that Jesus Christ spoke of, saying, I'm not going to give you any other sign in the entire world other than the fact that the prophet Jonah was in the belly of a great fish for 3 days and 3 nights. Do you see how God used the so-called mistakes of man to glorify himself? That Jonah, and this is going to confirm it to you even more when we discover where Jonah tried to flee to. Jonah tried to flee to Tarshish. And the root of the word Tarshish in Hebrew is 800 exactly. Bang on the nose. To the glory of Jesus equals 8 at 8. So the fact that Jonah tried to flee to Tarshish brings mathematical glory to Jesus equals 8 at 8. The fact that God intercepted him, made him stay in a big fish for 3 days and 3 nights, as the ultimate prophecy of the Messiah who would be buried for 3 days before rising from the dead, that is all for the mathematical glory of Jesus equals 8 at 8. And now you be encouraged in your own life. If you think you've screwed up, if you think you're a total failure, if you think you're the most fearful, unbelieving, wretched sinner in the history of the world, you're like a Jonah. When God tells you to do something, you get freaked out, you run in the furthest direction, you're like, man, I could never do anything for God. You be encouraged by the story of Jonah, and note that even the fact that Jonah fled to Tarshish was by divine ordinance to ultimately bring mathematical glory to Jesus equals 8 at 8 in a higher level. Because the root of the word Tarshish is 800 exactly, and that's where Jonah fled. That's to the glory of Jesus equals 8 at 8. And without Jonah having fled to Tarshish, we would not have the story of Jonah. We would not have the story of God's redemption. We would not have the 3 days and 3 nights prophecy, which is the ultimate prophecy of Jesus Christ being buried for 3 days and rising. Jesus himself said, I'm not going to give you a single sign other than what happened with Jonah. That's how strongly God thinks of this story that he made with Jonah. So all things are by divine ordinance. Even when Jonah thought he was screwing up, he was actually in God's total control and in God's total sovereign plan. Wow, this gets even better. Now, the ships of Tarshish, is a phrase that occurs out of the mouth of the prophet Isaiah. The ships of Tarshish, first, even, will bring thy sons from afar. What's this all about? The ships of Tarshish. Well, mathematically, look at this. The root of the word ship, which we solved over and over in the other gem, glorifies Jesus equals 8 at 8, being a set of 7 8s. And then Tarshish is, of course, 800. Show the ships of Tarshish equals 856, which divides by 8 brilliantly to the glory of Jesus equals 8 at 8. And so now you're appreciating how the details in the Bible are often the most important things to glorify Jesus mathematically. Hallelujah. Tarshish for the glory of Jesus.